Just a few months ago, I made a video talking about why we might need to be worried about the Batman, but now that it's hit theaters, were any of my worries valid, or was I just plain wrong? Hey Nerdgenic Nation, Superhero Nerd Aaron Waller here, and today, and likely for the next week or so, I'm going to be talking about The Batman, and just in case you have not seen it, this video will contain spoilers, but I will let you know when that happens, so even if you have not yet seen the movie, you can still enjoy this review and then come back when you have seen it for all the spoilery stuff. So first things first, let's get the elephant out of the room and start by saying all of the worries that I had a few months ago were completely washed away in this film, and I absolutely loved it. But before I even get ahead of myself, let's break down what I liked about it and the one thing that was a big misfire for me. So to start, let's talk about the Batman himself, Robert Pattinson. He was much better in every facet of this role than I ever imagined. His Batman was obviously dark and brooding, but with his story being a year 2 Batman, he also makes a lot of, for lack of a better phrase, rookie mistakes. His fighting style isn't clean, he still takes several blows while taking on multiple enemies, he even passes out a few times and risks the chance of it being unmasked. But he felt like he was still very early in his journey, which still carried a fake it till you make it in certain aspects, but that made his Batman so much more believable to me. His persona as Bruce Wayne, however, was pretty lacking. Early in the film it made total sense and I loved it, but as the film went on, and when he did have to put on that public mask, it felt like it didn't fit as well. So hopefully that will be improved in the future, but I do have to commend them for keeping Pattinson in the Batsuit for so long. He is Batman for a majority of this movie and I absolutely loved that. Finally we get a Batman movie about Batman, and not just a Batman movie where he's maybe in the suit for like 20 to 30 minutes at the most. Zoe Kravitz is amazing as Selina, and though I did have my worries about her, the second she changed into her Catwoman suit and became a lot more graceful, I was totally sold that she was a good fit for this character. There's also a story choice made for her that is quite different, and if it upsets some fans, I guess I can kind of see where you're coming from, but as it's a slightly different world from what we've seen in the past, I actually didn't mind it so much, and I thought it added another layer to Selina Kyle when I felt like not much else could be added for her. As for the rest of the cast, Paul Dano's Riddler, Colin Farrell's Penguin, John Turturro's Falcone, Jeffrey Wright's Gordon, and even Andy Serkis's Alfred were all essentially perfect. I never really felt like I was seeing the actors in any of these roles, but rather the characters really commanded the scenes that they were in, and even if they were next to the star of the movie, they shined in their own way and kept adding more to the story as they knew it being part of the movie was bigger than themselves rather than just being randomly in it. And although this wasn't necessarily a character per se, the Batmobile totally sold me. The second Batman got in and used it to its full effect, I was on board despite my previous reservations about going down the muscle car route, but it was pretty freaking amazing. The Batcycle, however, was a bit lacking in my opinion and felt more gimmicky by the end when it was finally thrown in, but I guess you can't really win them all. As for the direction and story, Matt Reeves crafted an absolutely stunning Batman story that was truly a detective noir story. For nearly the entire almost 3-hour runtime, I felt like I never wanted this movie to end despite what other reviews complaining about the movie's length. I felt fully engaged with this story and trying to figure out the clues along with Batman, whether they be the ones left by the Riddler or uncovering the heart of what he was trying to expose. This was hands down one of my favorite aspects of this Batman. But as I mentioned earlier, there was something that was a massive misfire for me, and this is where I'm going to have to give some spoilers here, so if you do want to go ahead and avoid that, jump to this time code on screen. Well, let's go ahead and get into the spoiler, which is this misfire for me was the final about 20 minutes or so. They're able to catch the Riddler as we've seen in the trailer. Batman interrogates him after believing that he knows his true identity, which it turns out he doesn't, and then it's revealed that the true plot, which was to blow the seawalls of Gotham and cause a giant flood and massive casualties. And I was still fully on board with all that, but once the flooding starts, things kind of just go downhill all of a sudden. The movie kind of already felt like it was over despite this one final twist, which I'm not mad at the movie for continuing, and I'm not mad at some of the events that occur with the other Riddlers that are more or less join his cause, or Batman even using adrenaline and lighting the flare to save everyone. All of that was actually really cool. But what I'm talking about is there are some relatively rough scenes where they just felt like they were wanting to include a big action set piece finale, but it just didn't look as good as the rest of the movie. It felt really disconnected and very green screen as opposed to the realism of a lot of the last 2.5 hours. And in addition to that, the final moments and ending overall, though somewhat necessary for quote-unquote closure for Batman and Catwoman, felt a bit forced and out of place. The movie should have ended, in my opinion, with the speech of Batman should be providing hope, and then cut to a few credits and having the title show one more time, and then put in the scene of the Riddler in jail and talking to the Joker and him laughing. That would have been a way better ending to this movie in my opinion, rather than going through the extra hoop or two. Would it have been reminiscent of perhaps Batman Begins? Sure. but at the same time it could have worked as this epic finale speech of Batman and setting up other characters. Now according to Matt Reeves, whether or not we'll actually see them anytime soon, if at all, will be up for debate for sequels. But if you want my opinion on the Batman and Joker dynamic, make sure you subscribe because I have some very interesting videos coming up talking about the movie and its future. But overall, the Batman was absolutely mind-blowing, and like I said, I didn't want it to end despite those slight issues that I took with it, and for that reason I'm going to give the Batman a 9 out of 10. Is Robert Pattinson the best Batman? Yeah, I think I have to say so, but I think he also has a lot of growing to do. Although it is a bit hard to say after only seeing the movie once, but this movie has resonated with me and I've been thinking about it non-stop since I left the theater, which I don't think any of the other Batman movies have done for me in quite some time. So for now, it's the best, and I can't wait to see this movie again and again and to see this world continue to grow. But now I want to hear from you in the Nerdgenic community. Have you seen the Batman? What did you like? Was there anything that you took issue with? Let me know in the comment section down below. And while you're down there, be sure to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell notification so you miss out on any future content, as we have a lot of content coming up, especially about the Batman. And also be sure to follow us across all social media at Nerdgenic so you miss out on any special news, announcements, or articles at nerdgenic.com. And also, if you want to be a kind citizen of the Nerdgenic community and support us even more, check out our Patreon, which we just recently launched. But in the meantime, if you want even more video content from us, check out these videos on screen, like my recent video talking about which Star Wars character should make a return to the upcoming Obi-Wan Kenobi series, or for you Halo fans, check out this video from Russell where he talks about why he thinks the Halo TV series will be good. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and we hope to see you in the next video.